life happens, and this happens all the time, where we have a goal and we go ahead. I can't see for those who are getting passed out. Okay, good. Thank you, Carl. So guys, one of the things that we get all the time with coaching, those of you that don't know, my name is Marc. I'm the Director of Coaching and Training with Tony Robbins. It is a huge honor. I absolutely love what I do. And coaching is just a vehicle. That's it. And it's a great opportunity, but every single one of us here is a person of influence, whether we know it or not. Is that true? Yes. So my question to you guys, if you get out some paper, I'm going to ask you guys some questions. Why are you here? Not just at leadership. Why did you come into Tony's world? If you're in this room, it tells us something that we know because we've worked this for a long time. We know that you're somebody that knows what's possible. Deep within you, you know that there's a level of greatness within you. There's a calling. Is that true? Society is telling you a lie. You're not enough. You're not tall enough for the guys. You're not pretty enough if you're a girl. You're not smart enough if you're a girl. You're too fat, you're too skinny, you're the wrong color, you're the wrong degree. Isn't it true? Society, if that's not the case, why do they take a girl, a lady, who hasn't had a biscuit in a month, they take 1,000 photos, they pick one, and then Photoshop the crap out of it. And then portray that to us, that's beauty. Isn't it true? They do the same thing to men. If you're not a multi-billionaire, if you don't have abs and a body like Brad Pitt, you're not a man. And it's nonsense. The reason you guys are here is you know it's nonsense. You know deep within you. I don't care if you're Mexican, American, Chilean, if you're from Europe, if you're male, you're female, you can have. What if you could have everything you really wanted? What if society is just scared shitless that you guys, if people found their true power, it would change and topple the game? The deck is stacked against us, but only if you allow it. So, why are you here? What is that inner voice that each and every one of you have? It might not be to be a billionaire. Guess what? That's awesome. What if your dream was to be the best mom or dad you could be? What if your dream was to go ahead and inspire kids to get off drugs? What if your dream was simply to be the best version of you? And if you're not careful, you're going to find society's going to suck you down, and it will go ahead and tell you every day that you're not enough. So what we get to do, and one of the great things about being with Tony, is we know it's a lie. A lot of the platinum partners that just left the room, they're no different than anybody else here, but they found one area of their life that they made a priority and they became wealthy. Everybody can be wealthy. Everybody can have passion. Everybody can be a person of influence. But to Tony and to myself and the rest of our team, we honor you guys so much for doing the impossible to get here. We know that you guys spent a lot of money, you spent a lot of time. There are people in your lives that think you're crazy for being here. How many of your friends said to you that you think you're in a cult? Well, here's the challenge too that we have. When we go back, we're going back to that environment that still believes that you're not enough. Because they don't think they're enough. Crabs in a bucket, raise your hand if you guys know what I'm talking about. Those of you that don't, there's enough that don't. If you put one crab in a bucket, he'll crawl right out. But if you put two crabs in a bucket, when one starts to crawl out, the other will crawl on top of it, trying to get out, but it'll pull them both back down. So what we have is what we are desperately needing in this country and the world is leadership. So, how many of you have something written down about why you're really here? Raise your hand if you do. Does anybody have a dream or a goal that you have not put down on paper yet? If so, please do so now. Take a minute and you guys do it. You know it's there. It almost hurts when you write it down because you know it's been on your heart for your whole life. Your teachers told you, oh honey, that's great, why don't you consider being a secretary? You're not doctor material. Sweetie, you don't have the makeup to be an attorney. You don't have the makeup to be a billionaire. So write it down and when you do it, because that's why I'm here. To help you guys identify what is it in you that if you focused on, you could have. What happens to you when you turn a dream into reality? Is it just help you or does it help everyone else around you? Everyone. So one of the things that I want to talk about is everybody has a dream. From the time you first declare it, your teachers, society, your friends, and even well-meaning parents and friends will go ahead and knock you down on it. That's what happens. Most people start over here. They tell us that success looks like that, but is that how success works? No. Success goes like this. Isn't it? And so the key here, why so few people are successful, is that society is telling us, go to work, go to college, get a job, work your way up the ladder, and eventually you'll be successful. You're already successful right here, you just don't know it. Because society said your success is based on your title, your income, your degree, what you do for a living, and it's nonsense. Yes, that's awesome, but you are just as powerful here. So what coaching does is, who's there to help you when you have that first block? Who's there to help you when you get way off track over here and you're starting to go down the wrong path? So one of the things that happens is that we look at Tony's methodologies. This is nothing I've created. I'm simply going to share with you. If you have a dream, the question is, how committed are you to that dream? Think about it. Where do you put your time? Most people are more committed to television. Their dream is secondary to television. Their dream is secondary to the story they have about why they can't have it. Heavy people, not my fault, I'm big bone. Poor people, not my fault, my dad was an alcoholic. All true and all irrelevant. So for you guys that are in this room, if the lights of the world give up, what happens to your community and your family? That's why it's so important that you guys are here. We do not take that lightly. So we honor you guys for that part. But here's kind of what happens, and you want to be aware of this. This is called load-up. How many of you know the law of diminishing intent? Anybody? Okay, a couple. So basically, you start your journey here. Go to an event, you get all pumped up, you go up to here. You start something new, you become a personal trainer, you start doing something, you move up. But then what happens is people go home, and they'll start to bottom out. Have you guys been to other seminars before? You guys know that feeling? You're fired up when you're at the seminar, you're going to make your goals, you go back, but then you get caught up in life. You got to catch up on emails, you got to catch up on a lot of things. So what happens is life happens. And when we find ourselves over here, you have a choice. Most people go back to the other way. Why? It's conditioned. Your other lifestyle, your other beliefs are already conditioned. Your environment is already conditioning lower behavior. But there's a few of you that will go back to another event. You'll see another spike in your performance and a spike in your life. So the same thing will happen. And again, some people will drop off. And this pattern is repeated over life. For the very few. The top 1% will end up here. Most will end up down here, better than they were here, but still not their potential. There's a way to hack it. Who wants to figure out how to accelerate that? Just a few? So this is the law of diminishing intent. Everybody wants to continue that. And there is a way to do it. But what Tony has found and what we have found, getting to have the pleasure to coach thousands and thousands of people every month, is that we also found there is a triad that very few people will do. We talk about conditioning. We talk about what it takes to do that. More than likely, you guys are the light in your community. You guys are the ones that speak a different language of possibility. You're the one that knows the difference between stepping out of your comfort zone and not. Kind of like what Vicki was talking about with flexibility. Tony said if you want to have a good laugh, tell God your goals and your direction. Because life is going to happen. The key is the triad. This is a different triad. This is total immersion coaching. Tony's system, Robin's Results Coaching, is a triad. Each one supports the other. How many people in fitness in here? Okay. Who can tell me the most important key foundational element for fitness? Diet. In bodybuilding circles, it's as much as 70%. Who can tell me the second key component? Exercise. What's third? It's really rest, but yes, the other ones will support that. So think about it in bodybuilding, and we see this all the time. Guys will skip the 70% and they just lift. Yes, they might get a little bigger, but they will never reach their potential. Does that make sense? So after working with 10 million people, Tony is collectively, what's unique about Tony is not just that he's worked with so many people and got amazing results. Positively or negatively, for 10 million times, he asked the question, why? Why did it work? What did that guy do to become a billionaire when he didn't have the resources? How did he become resourceful? Why does that person with a silver spoon, why didn't they? They had all the opportunity and they didn't. What's the difference? So one of the things he found is the 3 ways to hack that success line. And most people don't do it. Who can tell me why? Why don't people do what's proven? Scared? That's one of them. Correct. He's spot on. We are conditioned to believe if it's got to be, we even have to make it harder. It's too easy. That's too simple. There must be something else. And conversely, just like there's a difference between certainty and uncertainty, you have them both, we also have the belief that I want a pill. This is the microwave generation. People want to know is, hey, I can play the lotto and win. Success doesn't work that way. So here's the 3 aspects. Number 1, product as well. What are you feeding your mind? What would you pay Tony if you could have him in your ear every day for an hour? Fine-tuning your goals in your direction, everything he's learned about relationships. If you could do that and have him coach you, how much would you pay him for that? Most people will not do this. They're feeding their mind. I'm not saying it's not important, but they feed their mind the news. They feed their mind why they're not enough. They feed their mind stuff to try and pacify themselves about why they're not. Where do you think your life would be if you go ahead and fed your mind every day 30 minutes to an hour? Net time, no extra time. Tony's put together 19 different products that will accelerate your learning. But most people don't. Second part, events. This is where you accelerate putting decades into days. What you guys have learned here these last few days is what took them decades to figure out. So you're getting laser focus about, here's what makes the difference, 7 master steps. Brilliant, it's the foundation for what we do in coaching. You want to create lasting change, 7 master steps. So you want to condition it here. So what happens about every 3 to 4 months when an event, you start feeling like, oh crap, I'm getting sucked in, there's another event to support you. It will change my life, not one iota if we do any of this. This is just the way it is. How many of you guys are more vibrating at a high level and rocking right now than the day you stepped in here? All of you should have your hands up. The last one is coaching. Think about it. When life hits you and kicks you where you know where, who's there to pick you up? Your family, as much as they love you, they have a lot of times an agenda. I can't tell you how many times my family told me, oh, don't do that. Ooh, play it safe. I wasn't meant to play it safe in this life. My hunch is you weren't either. But they're coming from their fear and their biases, and they're projecting it on you. So who's there to have you with your blind spots? Somebody yell out why they call them blind spots. That's right. You cannot coach yourself. A label cannot be read by the inside of the jar. And so when we're out there doing that, what we think we need to be successful, I see it every day when people submit their coaching. I want my coach to have a background from Harvard. I want my coach to be a billionaire. I want my coach this. It's all nonsense. What they really are streaming for is certainty. But why did you come to Tony? Because that's the question. There's nobody on the planet who has taken more rags to riches and helped them become their dream than Tony. Nobody. I don't even know who would be second place. So the difference was also Tony and Joseph McClendon III both did it themselves. So think about that. His passion is to serve the world. That's why you guys are here, because you share that passion. But if you're skipping one of these, you're skipping a key part. I didn't invent it. Tony found this was the key. Now, is there a difference between different events that are out there? Is a football game going to inspire you as much as this, long term? No. Still an event. How about one of those get-rich-quick schemes money? You know, the real estate investor would buy money, Tom Musser now. So there's a difference here. Is there a difference in product? Is there a difference in coaching? Who's the best coach in the NFL? Bill Belichick. You could make that argument. Who else? Doesn't matter. Lombardi. John Wooden. Great call. So guys, the reason why is John Wooden, there were 200 other coaches every year he coached. Why did you know him? Because all coaches are not the same. He had a proven system. We have a proven system. So if you tried coaching and it didn't work, my first question is, who was your coach? Number two, how committed were you to your coach? Were you looking for reasons why it won't work, or were you looking for reasons that do? So each of these, don't complain if you're not losing weight, if you're not changing your diet, you're not going to the gym, and you're not resting. The system's been proven. So right now, when you look at your goal, how committed are you? It is never a matter of resources. It's about resourcefulness. Every one of you guys right now, more than likely, is driving a car. You probably have a place to live. You found a way to get resourceful enough to get here. Go through TSA, get a ticket, fight the traffic to get here. You have it already. So again, how committed are you to whatever is your dream? Because it's well worth the effort. But guys, if we don't get serious and call it tight, we're going to find ourselves very quickly getting sucked into the lie of life, where they're going to tell you you're not enough. Who are you to start trying to change a life? Look at you, you're not anything special, when in reality you are. And society does not want you to believe that. And it's until we light up and until we start owning our power, and we do that, we get a support system and a proven system that works, that we can truly change the world. Who can tell me right now the capital of New Hampshire? I don't. Who can tell me what year we fought the Spanish-American War? Awesome. One person. My point is that if you're not careful, you will forget 95% of what you learned here today. I passed calculus twice. I still don't know what the hell it was. It's true. I was like, I got an A. They asked me about it. I had no idea. So in terms of this, how are you conditioning? Who is your peer group? Who is going to be coaching and holding you accountable? One of my favorite stories is Wanda Broner. Our coach is right here in the second row. How much has she lost now? 150 pounds?
160 now.
160 pounds. You know her, Pepper knows her as well. Just huge inspiration. Do you know how many times she's gotten off track? A ton. That's why she hired a coach, because she was more committed to getting her outcome. She's now doing triathlons like Pepper. She has every reason in the world that's impossible. And if she keeps going, the world will eventually know her name. Because she is a walking testament to the human spirit. My point is, you all have it. But the question is, how committed are you to it? What if you wrote down everything you wrote on there, that you could be a multimillionaire, that you could be a major force for good, you could be the best parent you've ever seen? What if that was the case? But what if it was as simple as that? How committed would you be? Because then the logical mind will show up and say, oh crap, I'm already busy as hell. But what if being busy is not really your purpose? Because once you start to align with your purpose, you're going to watch magic happen, but only when you align with it. So guys, in terms of this is really what it is. We really have, it comes down to, if you're committed to your dreams and your goals, you will find a way. The decision always comes first. Always. And then you get creative finding it out. So as you guys are looking at that goal that's important to you on there, what if you had somebody that could keep you on track? What if you actually saw that dream realized in 1 year, 5 year, 10 year? Joe, one of our other coaches in the back, Just got a text from a client who just celebrated because they have $5,000+ in their account. I don't know if we've heard back, but they've been working on it now for 3 months. But my question to Joe was, how many years did that person have a dream to have money in the bank? Because they were always upside down, I guarantee it. So how long have you wanted to be a millionaire? How long have you wanted to be a power of influence? Because you can have it now. But what people have to realize is that that other way, life is moving too fast to try and learn from your own mistakes. If you don't believe me, ask Blockbuster. Life is happening quickly, and it makes more sense. That's why people come to Tony Robbins, and I guess that's probably why you ended up in our community, because you want more, and at your core, you know I'm right. And this is probably one of the only places you can be free to admit that you are destined for greatness, and we're here to help you do it. So you've got really a couple things. Number one, if you're leaving here, do you have product? If not, I highly recommend you get it. It won't change my life, but it will change yours. We listen to that. The coaches listen to this for 30 minutes to an hour a day, every day. Number two, what's your next event? And don't just show up passively. Don't just show up and say, oh, I'm just going to be there. Do what you can do to suck the juice out of this. Take notes, highlight it, work that. And then also, who's your coach? Find a way. If you have to scrape nickels and look in the back of your seat, freaking fantastic. The more you have to fight to get it, the more you will appreciate it and show up accordingly. So guys, we have a couple of options as well. It really depends on you. All of our coaches rock, or they don't stay on the team. We not only want them to rock, we want them to own it as well. Joe in the back and a few of our other coaches next week or this week are doing Kokoro, 50-hour Navy SEAL Hell Week. Got huge applause for that. Last year we did the Grand Canyon with Robin, rim to rim to rim, with a bunch of other coaches. We've had coaches that have dropped tons of weight owning this content. So when we do it, we also challenge them. That's a huge difference between us and anyone else. We're constantly challenging them to get out of your comfort zone. Elite, Master, the real difference. This one is predominantly for business owners or people that want better distinctions, more accountability, more of that, just more in there. But our elite coaches, we have Master certified coaches from ICF that don't even make our team. We have people with every degree in the book that don't make our team, because we make sure that they're living congruency and that they're pushing the envelope themselves so they can serve other people with that and know what that really means. So guys, you're in the right place at the right time. And my question to you guys is, how committed are you? You found a way to get here, and you could be that close to turning your dream into reality. So I'm going to turn you guys loose as well. We have a handful of coaches in the back. We've got Heidi on the back right. I believe we've got Connie, both from Europe. To the left of them, we have Mario. Amazing guy as well. Next to him is Joe Moffat. Next to him is Brody. And Brody, guys, Brody was in the seat, was it 3 years ago? Yeah, but 3 years ago, and I challenged Brody to challenge the crap out of him. I gave him a list that would scare most people of where I wanted to see before he was on the team. And he's been crushing it ever since. But he started by getting the coach. And we challenged the crap out of him, did we not? And now he's just a monster in a good way. We have Jesse as well, who did the Grand Canyon second row here as well. But guys, it's the best fraternity you will ever have, but even bigger than whether or not you became a coach with us, you are going to influence people either way when you get out here. The question is how effectively. So on that dream that you wrote down, how bad do you really want it? Is the TV more? Is the fact you might not have the resources right now more important? Or are you going to fight, kick, scream, grab life by the throat and make it your reality? Because you get to decide. And it's really up to you. But if you're in this room and you found a way to do it, the fact that you would even endure this, if you will, show up for this, most people already think we're crazy. Why don't we turn all of our dreams into reality and start taking the next step? So you guys with me? Excellent. If you guys have more questions, head to the back. Ask one of the coaches. We can help get you set up. If you have other questions as well, I'll be in the back as well. But guys, from the bottom of our heart, this is Tony. This is what we get to talk about. We get juiced about you. Who in this room is going to step up and claim their power? Woo! So excellent. Thanks guys for everything you guys do. Thank you. And thank you for attending this, and let's rock.